Hey everyone, C. Meixner here. Just thought that since it's around the time of WrestleMania, I'd give my thoughts on the matches that are going to be happening there. Now, before I begin, I'd like to apologize. I did say last week that I'd be doing a blog giving my thoughts on TNA Impact, and well, that didn't happen. But I have a good reason. I had a lot of homework that week, and I had more than I thought I would, so it was my teacher's fault. Blame them. Now, let's begin with the Unified Tag Team Championships. Shomiz versus R-Truth and John Morrison. Why? I mean, I've said before, I don't like these mix and match tag teams of Matt Hardy and the Great Khali, Miz and Big Show. But then they just took R-Truth and John Morrison and just threw them together. What really pisses me off is that they actually won number one contendership against two established tag teams, Crime Time and the Hart Dynasty. It blows my mind how utterly stupid WWE is getting with this tag team division. In terms of winner, I see Shomiz retaining, and I hope to God that they come out with a better theme song. They come out to a better theme song at Mania because, well, the current one, well, let's just say it makes Jericho's first theme look really good. If you haven't heard it, don't. It's terrible. Let's go to Money in the Bank. So this year we got Christian, Kofi Kingston, Shelton Benjamin, Dolph Ziggler, Evan Bourne, Kane, Jack Swagger, Drew McIntyre, Matt Hardy, and MVP. Now, all these guys, I'd say they have the capabilities of pulling off a good match, at least better than last year's match. Now, I liked last year's. It had a lot of really good spots, but it just wasn't as good as the previous ones. It will never beat my favorite spot at WrestleMania 24 when John Morrison did the backflip with the ladder. That was awesome, and that's my favorite match, Money in the Bank match. But hopefully these guys will pull it off. And well, I don't know who's gonna win, honestly. But my top three choices for who I want to win would either be Kofi Kingston, Jack Swagger, or Evan Bourne. Now, who do I think is actually going to win? Most likely Drew McIntyre. I don't like it, but it's probably going to happen. And if he doesn't win, Mr. McMahon will probably come in with some bullshit and say, you didn't win, but here's a briefcase anyway. It doesn't make sense. Speaking of McMahon, let's go to the next match. Well, what I assume will be the next match. Mr. McMahon versus Bret Hart. I don't see this lasting more than 5 minutes. I like the build, kind of, but then they just give us that leg injury thing, and it looked so fake. Even when they revealed that it was fake, I still can't believe that Mr. McMahon bought that it was fake, because that... Either way, it's a good build, and the two might pull off a good match, maybe, but I think that the way this should have gone was the way that we discussed in the WrestleCast. Have Bret Hart be John Cena's manager and Batista be with Mr. McMahon, and have them have a match, and then have McMahon get put in the sharpshooter or something like that. Just not actually have him wrestle, and in a street fight, no less. I mean, it's not going to turn out well. But then when Batista versus John Cena for the WWE Championship, once again, I don't see this being a good match. Because, quite honestly, I just don't like Batista anymore. I'm just sick of him. I like the concept that they're giving him, the spotlight thing, he's the king of everything. But to give him the championship just pissed me the hell off. And, well, it was a mistake in my opinion. They had a feud going. It would have obviously led up to a match at WrestleMania. They didn't need to put in the championship. And quite honestly, it could have been Sheamus versus Triple H for the WWE Championship, and that would have made sense. Have Sheamus eliminate Triple H last, and then Sheamus wins the championship, and they have a match because that's what always happens. The person who's eliminated last gets a championship match still, no matter what. Unless they lost. Whatever. Last time they had a match at SummerSlam, I just didn't like that match. I liked the ending because John Cena pretty much broke his neck. That was awesome. I loved that. Anytime John Cena's injured, I just love it. But in terms of winner, I forgot to mention my winner for Bret Hart versus McMahon. It's gonna be Bret Hart with the sharpshooter. But in Batista versus John Cena, I see Cena winning. I just don't see Batista holding on to that championship because I don't think he's capable of holding a championship for more than like a day. Anyway, I talked about Sheamus versus Triple H. This is going to be the highlight of the night for me. I love Sheamus, possibly because I'm Irish, and he was the first Irish-born championship, possibly because his theme is awesome, possibly because, well, he's just a great heel. But I always loved Sheamus, and putting him against Triple H is possibly the best move they could have made there. Now, I'll admit I didn't like it when he lost the championship. I've stated that. They could have given it to someone else. They could have given it to Triple H and had him rematch with Sheamus at Mania. But no, they went with John Cena. That's a different subject. Sheamus versus Triple H could have been for the championship and it would have been great. Now it's just a grudge match, but it's still going to be great. These two are amazing in ring. Even if Sheamus hasn't been able to prove himself quite as much because he's been like facing just Evan Bourne and everyone, like every other jobber. But if you watch him on FCW, he is amazingly talented. And he's a good worker. And he has a lot of potential in him. They just haven't given him enough time for it. And I'll admit the push came kind of soon. And I was kind of skeptical when they gave him the championship. I was glad, but I was skeptical. And actually, a funny story. Apparently, it was supposed to be a draw where they both fell through a table at the same time, but Sheamus' foot got caught. And then, in the rematch, apparently Cena got injured. So, it's like God was saying, no championship for you. I just love that. Anyway, winner, I see Sheamus winning because that is the way to give him a push. They've been pushing this guy like crazy, and that is the final thing that they need to do. Have him beat Triple H. If Triple H likes someone, he will let them beat him. That's the way to win it. I mean, like Triple H himself said, look at John Cena, look at Batista, look at Randy Orton. Look where they are now. That's where Sheamus can be. If he can beat Triple H, and I think that he will. Unless they decide to be stupid and have Triple H win. They would destroy any build that they've given him. Now, let's go to Rey Mysterio versus CM Punk. This one, I love the build on this one. I mean, pretty much we've been getting Taker versus Michaels for most of the build-up, but this, Rey Mysterio versus CM Punk, this is a great build-up. And the way that they've been, like, with the Straight Edge Society threatening his family and stuff like that, I was surprised, kind of, that they didn't go for that one Raven Sandman angle where he, like, turned his kids against him. I would have loved to see that. Of course, probably wouldn't have been PG, but the way that they did it here came close enough. Like, he came out and, like, sang happy birthday to his daughter. That was fucking creepy. I loved it. Man, CM Punk has reached a new height as a heel, and I think that he can very well be heel of the year this year. But he needs to fucking shave. Sorry, he just needs to shave. He looks like he's got, like, pubes coming out of his face. It doesn't look good. But otherwise, really, really good build. And apparently it was supposed to be a hair versus mask match, but everyone thought, like, well, it's Rey Mysterio. He's not going to lose his mask. What's that shit? I mean, that's actually the reason for not having the match. Well, like, a year ago, they had Jericho versus Mysterio for his mask and for the title. We knew Mysterio was going to win, like, because he can't lose the mask, but he lost the mask. Plus, actually, I see a loophole here for Mysterio. He could just say, can't wear your mask anymore. Okay, where's a different mask? He's got, like, millions of them. Anyway, well, let's go to Randy Orton versus Legacy in the triple threat match. This has been another really good build. Slowly, showing the legacy just dissolving. That was great. And I was surprised when Cody was teaming with Sheamus and stuff like that. It was a really good match. And Randy Orton is kind of the anti-face but anti-heel as well, the anti-hero pretty much. I like that because that's the kind of character he can be. He's like Kane. He's never actually good. He just doesn't care. He can kill anyone he wants. And I don't know who's gonna win this, honestly. I'd like to see one of the members of Legacy win, like the actual tag team, not like all three of them, like Cody Rhodes or Ted DiBiase. That's what I'm trying to say. One of them win. But then again, Randy Orton could win too. If they want the feud to continue, I'd say have one of the Rhodes or DiBiase win. If they want to end it, have Randy Orton win. And honestly, I really want to see a spot where Randy Orton does a double RKO. Like where he just grabs both of them and slams them down. I want to see that, and I hope that happens. If it does, I called it right now. I'm calling it. Now, how about Edge versus Jericho for the Heavyweight Championship? Orgasm. That's all I can say. These two are some of the most talented people in WWE. And like two of my favorite wrestlers, all-time favorites. And they're going head-to-head for a championship. That is awesome! And I'll admit, I wasn't a big fan of that spear thing. Like, I agree with you, Big Cal, if you're watching this. It wasn't that good. But that one time on Raw, when he just came out, speared Jericho, and just got down on his knees, spear, and then just left it at that was awesome. That had more effect than him just going like, spear, Jericho, spear. Both of those were really stupid, but that one was just perfect. Spot on. Great way to build it. And I don't know, actually, because I've always been a supporter of the spear itself. I'm just going to talk about this quick. Like, when someone big uses it. Like, I could believe when Big Show uses it, because it looks like he's going to cleave his opponent right in two. I can believe, well, of course, it's because he's against Evan Bourne, and he sells like he has to die in order to get paid. But still, when Goldberg used it, it looked believable, because Goldberg is fucking huge, and it looks like he can kill you. And if he hits you with his shoulder, you're gonna feel like you got, like, your lungs collapsed. Edge, on the other hand, I'm not sure if I buy it. I mean, it could, kind of, because the way that he angles himself is what makes it work. He kind of, like, shoves, most spears go right there, and they just hit you right there, and you just go down. Edge kind of, like, pushes upward, and it would cause air to fly out, and that's what kind of a finisher is supposed to do, is knock the wind out of you long enough for a 3 count. Now, it's not inherently painful, which is why I'm confused as to why they're building it up so much. But, whatever, it's still good. Essentially, like Spoonie said, it's a flying hug. And, I don't know, it could work, but in terms of winner, I honestly think that Chris Jericho's going to win. Not because I want him to win, I want Edge to win, but because this feud is too good to just end at WrestleMania. Like last year when Jericho was facing all the old-timer people, when he faced Ricky Steamboat, we knew that can't be the last match he's in, so they had him at Backlash again. And this is going to be such a good match, they know it can't end just with Edge winning and the feud being over. No, it's going to end with Jericho winning, and Edge keeps going for it. Or Edge might win and Jericho will just bring his rematch clause, keeping the feud going, but that's never exciting. But let's move on to what I think will be the main event of the night. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, streak versus career. Wow, what to say. I mean, this is the first time it's been like 2 years in a row they've faced the same opponents, for one thing. So that's already something awesome. But last year, that match, oh my god, that was such a good match. I mean, it's been praised by everyone. Oh my, it was an amazing match, and I'm kind of scared because I don't think they can top it. Sure, there's a streak versus career, and sure, there's Shawn Michaels like being addicted to it like crack. But I don't know. I mean, I think they're building it a bit too much. Last year it was the perfect amount. Like when he came out parodying the Undertaker, and when he was like doing the in the graveyard and digging the grave for him, that was cool because he honestly thought Undertaker might lose. Here, I think that Undertaker's gonna win because, well, I just don't think that Shawn Michaels can pull it off by pinfall. And the only way he even came close to winning last year was by countout. I mean, sure, he kicked out of the tombstone like 8 times. Kicked out of the last ride, chokeslam, everything. He got out of Hell's Gate, but I don't think he has I don't think he can pull it off. I think that this will be the highlight of the night. If not, it's going to be Jericho versus Edge. But if they pull this off, if they can light up the stage again, if they can make it magical again, then I'll be glad. But I'm not sure I can really. I don't see it happening. Last year was WrestleMania 25. They had to make that good. That is the show of the shows of the show. That didn't make any sense. It's the how do I say this? It is the biggest show of shows ever, pretty much. It's the 25th anniversary. The only thing bigger than that is going to be WrestleMania 50. And I don't even see a WWE being around that long, honestly. And if it is, good, but still. That was, like, they needed it to be a good match. Because it was WrestleMania 25, like, the big WrestleMania. This is just WrestleMania 26. It's not quite as special, like, quite as epic. I hope to God that they do pull off a really good match, and I hope that they top last year's, because if they do, then pretty much everyone is going to be ablaze about it. It's the streak versus the career. I want Undertaker to retire with the streak intact. I don't want him to ever lose that streak, and I think that having it be 18-0 is a perfect way to go out, because that's an even number, and like it just doesn't sound quite as good to say 17-1. Oh, I want the streak intact, and so I think that Michaels will lose, but it'll be an epic lose, like last year. He did the backflip, but he got caught. That was epic. That was a great way for him to lose, even if he did lose. This year, I don't know how, but they need to make it epic. Maybe he's doing Sweet Chin Music, he grabs him really quick and just hits him with a tombstone. Something to make it special. And since it's no DQ, maybe they'll. I don't know. I hope it's good. Well, that's all I got to say. This looks like it's going to be a good year, and I hope it is. Z-Mike signing out. That was so incredibly lame. Why did I say that?